This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So when it comes to SAP, first thing is we should never say SAP. The reason behind that is it's a three letters of abbreviation: systems, applications, and products in data processing. First reason is it's a German company. So in Germany, SAP is, and SAP has a different word. Even in English, it's called as foolish person. So point number one, we should never say SAP, mean SAP. Second thing, SAP has an ERP solution. ERP is Enterprise Resource Package. On top of it, they designed an application for industry specific. So if you look at the SAP R3 is a basic ERP package which can be implemented to any type of industries. On top of it, what they did is all the business processes, business scenarios they have identified for individual industries like retail, oil and gas, multimedia, banking, insurance, utilities. So they what they did is they have identified a unique business processes for unique industries, and they developed a new application called industry specific solutions. There are 18 or 19 industry specific solutions, and out of those industries specific solutions, one of the industry specific solution is utilities. And the same application we can use it for five different industries. When you say utility industry, it covers five different utility industries, or you can say services: electricity, water, gas, wastewater, waste management, and a public administration. These are the industries which you can cover under the same application. Normally, if you look at other utility industries, like not utility, other industry specific solutions, like IS banking is only for banking. IS insurance is basically for insurance. IS real estate is only for real estate. Whereas IS utilities, we can use the same application for these different industries: electricity, gas, water, wastewater, waste management, and public administration. Now, in this, to understand what exactly SAP IS utilities can handle, we need to know what are the different functionalities we have in utility industry, and for those functionalities, what SAP came up with the solutions. That's what we need to identify as a functional consultants or SAP consultants. To do that, let's try to understand what exactly a utility industry solution is, and what are the different modules we have, and what are the different concepts we have under each module. SAP IS Utilities is also known as Sales and Information System, which supports utility industries. And to support utility industries, the end-to-end business process, which we normally call it as MTC, meter to cash. One of the major business process in utility industry is meter to cash. And to handle that meter to cash, SAP classified into five modules. We'll see in detail about each and every module what we handle in individual modules. For now, Customer services is one of the biggest module. Customer services, work management, device management, billing and invoicing, financial accounting, contract accounts receivables and payables. These are the five core modules. Apart from this, utility also has a different module. Utility has different modules altogether, like AMI, and you also have business rules framework, BRF plus, AMI meters, smart meters, or else you can say EDM, energy data management, RTP, real time pricing. So there are different advanced modules as well. But these are the four core modules. Now, to connect your utility industry with SAP utility industry, first thing is we need to identify what functionalities we are trying to implement it in utility industry, like SAP IS utilities. To ease it, let's go and discuss a simple business process by taking an example of electricity utility. In the electricity utility, there will be three or four different segments. The first one is called generation, right? You'll normally generate electricity. It doesn't matter which source you're using. It could be a coal, electricity, like thermal power or hydraulic power or solar power, wind power, or whatever. Whatever the source you're using, you're trying to generate electricity. Now, once you generate the electricity to reach out to the consumer or a customer, I cannot directly connect it to a generation, because generation will be in kilowatts or megawatts or whatever. So the generated power from the generation plant need to be transmitted to the customer. So there will be a generation organization or a generation department which is responsible to generate electricity. And there will be a separate department or an organization which is called transmission, which will transmit the high voltage power or an electricity from a plant to the nearby substations. Substations will have two options, like whether it is a step down or step up transformers. Step down is if you are trying to supply the electricity to the nearby properties, then we'll step down the electricity capacity. If you are trying to push it to further destiny, then you'll step up the transformer. We are going to use step up and we'll push the electricity further. Now your transmission is responsible till the substation. Now once it reaches to the substation, from there the other department, which is called distribution department or distribution organization, will take the responsibility to distribute the electricity to the nearby properties. Either it could be residential, commercial, industrial, irrigation, or what type of categories you want to use it. All those residential, customer categorizations, we will supply the electricity through a distribution channel. Now, once the electricity reaches to the customer and once started using the electricity, every month your distribution company will take the responsibility to collect the meter readings on a periodic basis. Once it collects the meter read, we'll create the bill document, we'll create invoice, and then we'll send the invoice to customer, and your utility company will take the payments from the customers. Not only that, any type of customer service, like if customer has a problem with the bill, if customer has a problem with his connection or low voltage, high voltage, meter issues or anything, that will take that has to be taken care by the utility company. So all that part, which is called customer service, will be taken care by a retail part. Now, when you look at electricity utility, the entire business process is categorized into two. One is called a regulated market, and the other one is called deregulated market. Most of the countries in the world are regulated. Regulated in the sense you'll have only one service provider and you have to take the electricity from the same provider. No alternate, no competitor. There are certain areas like UK is deregulated, certain part of it is deregulated. US, few states are deregulated. Other than that, most of the countries are regulated. Regulated in the sense, as I said, you don't have any competitors, you have to go with only one service provider. Deregulated, you'll have more and more options as a customer and you can choose who is your service provider. Most of the cases, if you take an example of a telephone, like your mobile, you have more options, right? You can choose any service provider. That is called deregulated. Is that clear?
Clear, yeah.
So in a deregulated market, your transmission and distribution will be regulated, whereas retail, that's a customer service, you'll have more and more competitors. So customer will have a choice to choose it. When it comes to SAP IS utilities, it mostly deals with the retail activities. Retail in the sense how you're collecting, how you're doing a move in, a move out, and how you are taking care of your customer, how you are supporting your customer, in what way you're supporting your customer, how to generate the bills, how to generate the invoices, how to collect the payments and all the stuff. Only that part, which is called customer service, can be handled in SAP IS utilities. And that's what we're going to discuss in our training sessions as well. Now, so as I said, in SAP IS utilities, there are five major or a base modules, core modules. First one is your customer service, work management, device management, billing and invoicing, and FICA. To simplify this, to understand it in its easiest way, if you take one example, let's say you are a customer and you need electricity service to your property, like your residential property. Now, the process how a customer does and how a utility company help out a customer. Simple. As a customer, you're going to apply or you're going to submit your application with the details, your personal details, your address details, and where exactly you need a connection and everything. You're going to submit your file or an application to a utility company. That application in utility, we call it as move in. That's a move in request. And in utility company, there will be a customer service department. Either you can say it as a call center or a customer service or a customer agent or whoever, or a front desk. So front desk people will accept or receive that application and they'll put that as a move-in request in utilities. Once the move-in request is received, someone has to verify a property physically. The reason why we need to visit property is either you already have a connection, or is it a new connection? Is it connected to the nearby transformer or nearby pole or not? That has to be verified. And if it is a new device has to be installed, then they have to do a goods movement on the devices. They have to install the device. They have to connect those devices to the nearby service lane, right? So to do that, I need a technician to visit your property. The technicians is device management. That's a different department altogether. So customer service department, we need to pass the information from a customer service department to the device management department. Or else, if you take an example of deregulated market, your retail company will receive the application from a customer, and a retail company need to inform the distribution company to go and set up the infrastructure. So your distribution department or a distribution company is called device management. Now, how do we inform the department is through a work management. So as and when I submit my move-in request, it creates a service order, and that service order will go through work manager to a device management. And in the device management, we'll select the technicians depending on their work schedule, routing, and all the stuff. We'll select or we'll allocate that service order to a technician. The technician will go and do his activities like installing the meter, setting up all the infrastructure and everything, and then your move-in will be completed. Now once the move-in is completed, that means we got a new customer and with a schedule in the sense, when should we get the meter read on a monthly basis, and when are we going to generate the bill for those customers. Most of you guys have electricity service, so if you ever got a chance to observe that you will be receiving your electricity bill on the same period of a month, maybe plus or minus 1 or 2 days. Is that a right statement? Question to you guys.
Yes, it's right. Actually, every utilities has a different billing cycles. Okay, it's like depends on the area, or maybe depends on some geographical area. Even.
Right,
So because I have
so
been
your
work with the different utilities, yeah. So there is a billing cycles are different billing cycles. Even minimum 4 or 5. So, so they will collect the billing with the different dates.
right, so utility company has its own schedule. The service territory is already categorized or grouped into different schedules, which we call them as portions. We'll have a different billing cycle for individual geographical boundaries, right? So certain customers will receive their bill on first day of every month. Certain set of customers will receive their bill on second working day of every month. So utility company has a schedule, and your customer will be fitting into one of the schedule depending on the geographical areas. And based on that schedule, on a periodic basis, on a monthly basis, we have to collect the meter read, because every time whenever we send an invoice to a customer, we want to send with the actual meter read. So we have to go and collect the meter read, even if it is a AMI meters, which is a smart meters, which you can connect it remotely it doesn't matter, but it also has a schedule. AMI meters is more advanced meters where you can connect them remotely to cut the meter read, right? And in AMI meters, the advantage is you can collect the meter read for every 15 minutes. The minimum interval is called as 15 minutes. So depending on your schedule, you can collect the meter read for every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 12 hours, whatever. But while sending the invoice to a customer, we'll consolidate everything into a monthly meter read, and based on the monthly meter read, we are going to set the invoice. Now, so that responsibility lies with the device management. So your device management is responsible for all collecting the meter reads, converting them into consumption and everything. And once the meter read is available, your billing engine, your billing department will take the responsibility to calculate different different charges. Like when you look at your electricity bill, you'll have not one charge, but you'll have different charges: base charge, minimum charge, or else you can say PUC charges, or you can say transmission charges, distribution charges, fuel charges, energy charges, energy what do they call it as, energy adjustment factor charge, consumption charge, right? There will be different charges. Your billing department will take the responsibility of calculating those different charges based on the consumption what we received, and will trigger the invoice to a customer. Now once the invoice is sent to the customer, your clock starts, because once the invoice is submitted, it also goes with a due date. Let's say, for example, if I send an invoice today, I'll normally give 15 days as a due date. So once you receive your invoice, it'll give you 15 days time to pay the due, right? So customer will try to make a payment within 15 days. That part will be taken care by FICA, Financial Accounting, Contract Accounts Receivables and Payables. Not only that, it's just a basic what I've given, but in depth there are many things which happens in individual modules. Say for example, if I go with customer services, it takes care of customer service, like your move-ins, move-outs, transfer of services, disconnections, reconnections, customer interactions, customer communication. Whereas work management is responsible to take care of your service orders, service notifications, internal as well as external. And at the same time, it is also responsible to maintain address management, which we'll discuss later in a detail. So it also deals with your regional structuring, political and postal regional structuring, how to manage those addresses and all the stuff. At the same time, your device management is responsible for a device. When I say device, device installation, device removal, device replacements, device inspections, device certifications. Along with that, it also takes the responsibility of setting up the routes, getting the scheduling, meter read schedule, bill schedule, and it also takes the responsibility of creating the meter read orders, collecting the meter reads, uploading, downloading the meter reads. Your billing and invoicing takes the responsibility of setting up the rates. When I say rates, the charges, whatever the different charges we are calculating as per the services, setting up those formulas, rates, rate structures, and it will take the responsibility of calculating your bills and the invoices. Bill is at a service level, invoice is at a account level. Now let me give you a simple example in it. Mm, Have you ever seen a utility company providing more than one service? Question to you guys. So we discussed about electricity utility. So
Yes,
assumption is it provides only electricity. Water, it will provide only water. So have you came across any situation where one company is providing more than one service?
yes, yes.
So what are the services you guys have,
Water and electricity,
right?
water and
So
electricity, gas as well. Yeah, three.
so you have three services, right?
Yeah.
Can I say water charges are same as electricity charges?
No, it's
No,
different because the unit price is central different and the unit is different.
right? So three
Yeah.
different services, three different calculations, three different measuring units, three different charges. Way of calculation is also different, right?
Yes.
So SAP utilities provide you an option called billing. A bill charges will be specific to a service. Like electricity has its own set of calculations, gas will have its own set of calculations. That is called bill. But while sending it to a customer, are we sending three different invoices, three different bills, or only one single bill, which includes
Only
all three,
one single bill, which detailed include like water and electricity, gas, the utilization and the charges, but it will be one.
right? We'll send one single invoice with all the charges. That's where I said your bill has an individual charges for a per service, whereas your invoice is a consolidated report of all your services plus any account level or administrative charges. When I say account level charges, your previous balance or a past due balance, your payments, deposit, or you can say late payment charges, or you can say service activation fee, right? Or you can say taxes, interest on late payment, or interest on security deposit. I'm not saying it will apply for all the utility companies. Again, it depends on your geography and it depends on your utility company how they want to handle those different charges or service charges. Clear? So your invoice will have all those account level charges along with your service level charges. Now once the invoice is created, as I said, it goes with a 15 days due date. That due date will be set by your FICA. Now your billing is responsible for calculating your charges. Your invoice is collecting all the service level charges plus administrative charges plus account level charges, and it will also take the responsibility of a print job. How you want to send an invoice to a customer? Is it an electronic bill? Is it a paper bill? Right? Is it a single bill or is it a individual bills? Joint invoicing or is it an individual invoicing? All that will be taken care in billing and invoicing. When it comes to FICA, it is responsible for taking off your starting from your handling your debt. Once the invoice is created, it will be a debit on a customer account, right? Now have to take a payments. What type of payments we can accept? Is it a credit card payment, debit card payment, check payment, bank payment, or electronic transfer? What type of payments we are accepting? What type of different channels are allowed to accept the payments? So your finance FICA is responsible for payments, returns, refunds, and dunning activities. When you say dunning activities, once we send an invoice to a customer, if we don't receive the payment before the due date, what actions we need to perform against that due? Like normally what happens is your utility company will remind the customer saying you have a due and will apply a late payment charges, and again we'll send a reminder. Until unless we receive the payment, we are going to remind the customer. So second times we reminded them, but we have not received it. Then what actions we have to take? So we'll send a disconnection notice, just a warning. So again we'll wait for a couple of days. Then we send a final warning. Again we'll wait for a couple of days, and then we are going to disconnect the service. Customer is still with us, but we'll disconnect the service. We'll just turn off the electricity. Now, even though even after doing that also, if customer is not paying, making a payment, then we'll move out the customer and we'll submit it to a collection agency. So all that part is called dunning activities. So how to handle with your debts, how to calculate your late payment charges, how to calculate your disconnection charges, reconnection charges, all that part, how to submit it to a collection agency. And now there are there are situations even when I submit it to a collection agency was also not able to collect the payments. Now the question is how long your utility company can keep that as a debt or revenue. Not for a long time, right? So we'll wait for an year, and after 1 year we'll just write it off. Write it off in the sense it's no more revenue because we are not going to get this revenue anymore. That process is called write off. So your FICA is responsible for all those activities, taking payments, setting up the payment, due dates, type of payments, what we are receiving, payment lot creations, payment processing, clearing activities, dunning procedures, and then payments, refunds, returns. Along with that, certain geographical areas like especially US market, if a customer has a due and customer calls the utility company for assistance, utility companies will provide an installment plan on a due amount, or else a customer can set it on a budget bill. Irrespective of his amount, he can keep on paying the fixed amount every month. Say for example, in the initial setup, on his consumption history, your SAP says your average bill is $60 per month. So we fix his budget on a $60, irrespective of his actual invoice value. Like his invoice value may be $40, or it might come at around $70 or $80, but he'll just keep on paying $60 every month. That's called budget. The customer is on a budget. So that flexibility is also available in SAP IS utilities. Right? Those are called installment plans, budget billing plans, deferrals, and how to submit it to a collection agency. So this is FICA. Now coming to our training, I normally take end to end. Now you guys decide which module you want to go with.